is Whitney, aka Witch Beezy, and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I typically do Let's Plays and speed builds, usually of The Sims 4, and I thank you so much for joining me in today's video. In today's video, I am going to be doing a speed build. This speed build is in Granite Falls. It is a diner. Well, it's not really a diner. It's more so like a restaurant. It was really inspired by like my own town. Well, not necessarily the town that I live in, but a nearby town that I go to. I don't know. One thing I feel like Granite Falls is lacking in is more community lots, because I feel like Granite Falls is a very cute place to go to. It's a very beautiful world, and sometimes I do wish that I could go camping. I know like I've spoken about this before, and I feel like I just need to like push past some of my fears and just go camping. Um but I don't know. I feel like right now I'm just kind of living through my Sims a little bit and letting them go camping instead of me, because it's something that I'm a little bit afraid of. And I don't know, sometimes I forget that Granite Falls even exists, because you have to go on vacation in order to get there. You can't just like travel to it. But sometimes I feel like, especially the way that Granite Falls is packaged and given to us, I really don't really feel the need to go on vacation to Granite Falls. Like, for example, if I was to get my Sims to go to Sulani, for example, in Sulani, you can go to the beach. There's also a bar you can go to. You can live in Sulani, or you can go and rent like one of the houses in Sulani. But in Granite Falls, it's mostly just, the campground, the cabins, and the national park that you can go to. But other than that, there really isn't anything else to do in Granite Falls. Especially like with the national park, like all you do is go there, and I think there's like bugs or collectibles you can look at. And I honestly do wish that they would do a refresh like how they did with the spa day for the I can't think of the name of this pack. I think it's like camping, or let I don't know, something. I don't know. I call it the camping pack. But I think a refresh for this camping pack would be very much appreciated and very well needed. For example, like there really isn't much to do in Granite Falls, except you can like fish, and you can also do some hiking, and you can go to the national park. I personally feel like one of the things that could be like revisited is the hiking system, because in Snowy Escape we also got a hiking system. And I think in the Growing Together pack there was some type, it wasn't hiking, but it was like a walking system. And I like those type of hikes in the walking system with those game packs much better than the one that came with the camping pack, because with the camping pack they don't really do much. They just like walk around, and then they get like an emotional buff, and I don't know, they say that they're enjoying the sights. But like for example, with the Snowy Escape pack, when they would do like hiking, like there were like actual like animations, like the bugs would fall on them, or they had things they would stop and like maybe take selfies or something like that. And I don't know, I feel like something like that could be added to the camping pack, or something where like maybe you can send your child Sims, and there's like a little summer camp thing. And I feel like that, I don't know, I'm thinking of like packs that have already been released, and how they could like influence like older packs. For example, like when I think of the little campers pack, I think of like kids going camping. I just think that if the Sims team could find like a way to merge like newer packs and like kind of add on to the older packs in terms of like gameplay, it would make I feel like it would make like a huge difference when it comes to visiting Granite Falls. I also noticed too, when I brought my Sims to Granite Falls for vacation, because I wanted to test out this lot, and I also wanted to test out a campground that I had created. I noticed that like when you can like fish in a lot of places in Granite Falls, and it also looks like there would be room for your Sims to swim in, or at least splash each other. I feel like that would be a really nice thing to be added to this camping pack in terms of gameplay. And I don't really know why that was something that wasn't added, or like it doesn't even have to be like a huge refresh, but like even in like a small update, I don't understand why that couldn't be added to the gameplay. But yeah, I just think that Granite Falls is a very beautiful like town for your Sims to come to. It's a really nice vacation spot. So I don't know, I just felt like I needed to add some things on in order to make Granite Falls worthy of coming to. Like a place where my Sims can like come here and like it's not boring or it doesn't feel like they can't do anything. And recently, I brought my Sims here on vacation, and I just noticed that they just, I don't know, well, not they didn't just have more fun, but I had more fun playing. Usually, when I'm doing builds, I'm thinking about like, how do I want to play with this? How can I make this build be more worthwhile? Because I think I've talked about this before, but I absolutely hate sitting through loading screens. And sometimes when I have to sit through like so many loading screens, by the time my game loads, I really don't feel like playing anymore. Usually, I'm like, I don't know, I feel like some people can relate to this, but a lot of the times when I'm waiting for the new screen to load in The Sims, I usually get my phone and I start scrolling through TikTok, and then usually I get sucked up into TikTok, and then it kind of like takes my attention, and then I like lose interest in the game, and I don't want to play anymore. And just sometimes like the thought of having to sit through a loading screen makes me not want my Sims to go anywhere, but then I get bored with, them staying home all the time. So I don't know, I just feel like going on vacation just adds so much gameplay and so much storytelling, and it just makes the game more fun and exciting rather than them sitting at home or even just like staying in their own little world. Because the way that I like to play the game is I kind of think of all the worlds as little cities, and I try to think about like how realistic would it be for my sim to go from town to town or city to city. And I feel like Granite Falls, I kind of wish too that Granite Falls wasn't locked behind a vacation world, because I do feel like Granite Falls is a place that you could come to without having to take a vacation. I kind of wish that you could kind of just like, I don't know, like go to this restaurant that I just built just because you want to go here. Because like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I feel like Granite Falls really reminds me of like a town that I live in. Well, a town nearby that I live in. It kind of reminds me of a state park that I usually go to, and I feel like this restaurant was very much so inspired by a lot of restaurants that are around where I live in. It's not like a fancy, we don't have like a whole lot of fancy restaurants. They're mostly like older. They kind of like remind me of like maybe they were homes at one point, or it was a house at one point and it was like renovated into a restaurant, or repurposed as a restaurant. It kind of like gives you like that homey feel, and that's kind of like what I was trying to accomplish a lot, like more so with the inside of the restaurant. It doesn't really look like a super fancy restaurant. It kind of like looks more so like, maybe these were like pieces of furniture that were passed down, or maybe they were like homemade or something like that. I just wanted to give it like a homey feel, and I also wanted to give it like a very touristy type feel too. Like, I don't know, I feel like because it is a vacation world, I want it to look like it is some like it has like a lot of tourist attraction or something like that. So that's why I included, I don't know if you'll see it yet, but I included like a map of, it looks like a campo, like the campgrounds, or it looks like a map of Granite Falls, and I wanted to include that because I feel like this restaurant is like the perfect place for like tourists to just come and meet up. Maybe you'll meet other tourists like from other places. um but I feel like even if you don't want your Sims to come and like sit down and eat, because I don't know, like one thing I did notice when I did bring my Sims here is that I don't know if they worked on it recently, but the dine out system, like that came with the dine out pack, I feel like maybe they worked on it a little bit, because usually before, like I had to use a mod in order for my Sims to like sit down and get their meal at a reasonable time. And I noticed that when I brought my Sims here, like I was playing in my completely vanilla games save file, and I noticed that they did get their food at a reasonable time, and it wasn't super glitchy. They actually like sat down at the table and waited. They weren't like constantly getting up and going to the bathroom or doing something else. they literally just sat at the table and talked to each other. I didn't even like click on them to interact with each other. They were just doing it on their own, and their food came at a reasonable time. It didn't take like forever for them to get their food. They even ordered dessert. Like I never actually do that. Like sometimes I feel like because would take so long for them to get their food, I would just get them to get something to drink and get like their main course. But they ended up like staying for a longer period of time, and they actually like, I don't know, it just works so smoothly. So I don't know if they've recently like worked on the dine out pack to make it like function better, but that I feel like that's something that I noticed. One of my favorite types of builds is like restaurants. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I just like doing more community style builds more than I like houses and stuff like that, because houses are kind of like one style, and then you just like decorate the inside to fit your personality. Of course there's more than one style of house, but I don't know, I just feel like more so like houses are kind of like the same kind of depending on like the area. Like every area has like their own style of houses, but when it comes to community lots, like I feel like you can make so many different types of community lots. And I've talked about before, like I usually love my community lots to be multifunctional, and I feel like the multifunction of this lot is, of course, it's a restaurant. You can bring your Sims here to eat. If you get tired of them being at the campground and like grilling food, or you can like just come to the bar and maybe meet some people. Like I said, I kind of think of this place as like it's very touristy. Like there's a bunch of tourists coming to visit, and I don't know, maybe you can bring your Sims here to come and meet new people, kind of like see, like I don't know, I think I really like think about it in like terms of storytelling, and I can just see my sim coming here and like meeting someone, kind of like how in like the Sims 3 where you would go on vacation to like Egypt and China and France, and then they would meet like locals, and you would have to like call them long distance, or you can invite them over like to your town, and they would like travel from long distance. And I kind of think of it in terms of that. I feel like you could bring, I brought my Sims here, and my Sims that I'm currently playing with, they're just like engaged. They don't have any children, but I also feel like this restaurant is the perfect place to bring your family, a very large family. Because I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they've worked on the dine out pack, but I feel like one thing that I've never really done, or I don't really do a lot, is bring my families out to eat, because it would just be like a total disaster. Like no one would sit still, like no one would wait for their food. um it would just be like so stressful to bring my family out here to eat. And I don't know, like I said, when I brought my Sims here, it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. If you are kind of like still on the fence about the dine out pack, or if you feel like it still needs some work, I also could see my Sims like packing a picnic and eating out on one of the tables that is on the deck, which is like my favorite part of this build. And really it was like the main focus of this build. Well, not really the main focus, but it was something that I really wanted to do, because I don't really use a whole lot of like terrain tools, because I'm not really good at it. I'm not really good at like manipulating, like making hills and like mountains. I've seen so many people like build like really cool houses and things like on like it's almost like a hilly slope or something like that, and I'm not really good with those tools. And I like to mostly just focus on the basics, stick to what I know, stick to what I'm good at. And I really feel like I kind of like challenged myself a bit with this little pond, because I really wanted to have like a little dining area, or like a little picnic area like on a dock, like over like the pond or something, because I don't know, I just feel like that would be really cool. And where I live at, there are literally like restaurants and places where you can kind of do that, because it is like a more like seafood type. We have like a lot of seafood restaurants. I don't want to say too much about like where I live. I do live in Virginia, and seafood is kind of like a big thing in Virginia, because it's kind of like, I don't know, we have like the Chesapeake Bay and all that kind of stuff. So like crabs and stuff like that is a big deal. I already did make like a menu for this restaurant, and for the restaurant, like the original restaurant menu that I made, it's more so like a breakfasty thing, or like a brunch type thing. Like there's a bunch of like eggs, bacon, pancakes, stuff like that. But there are like a few items. I think I added like steak, or I don't know, chicken nuggets for like the kids. I don't know. But I feel like you can have like, it's mostly like breakfast and lunch, but you can also come here for dinner if you want to. If you want to have breakfast for dinner, you can do that as well. But I feel like in the future I might change the menu to other things. Like maybe I would make this as like a seafood restaurant. Um, I'm also trying to think of like what else, because I feel like there are a lot of restaurants around me that have like a similar vibe to the restaurant that I built here. And I feel like another thing that you could um, do is maybe like a barbecue. I don't really know how many barbecue type foods we have in The Sims 4. I know I have like custom content where it's like a bunch of like barbecue. Like maybe you could have like some wings. I don't know. I have like a lot of um, wing type meals in like my save file where I use custom content. But I personally believe that this build is really fun to play with. I did play test it when I was playing with my like off camera save file, and yeah, I think it's already up on the gallery. It's been on the gallery for a while, and I will put my gallery ID down below in the description. So if you're interested in downloading this build, all you have to do is type in my gallery ID number. And I don't know, like lately, I don't know, I don't really know how the gallery works now since they updated it. It is kind of like confusing a little bit. So, but I believe you can just, still just type in my gallery ID and just scroll through until you find it. I don't think I named it anything in particular. I might have to go back and check. I did take a little bit of a break from making Sims 4 content. I actually took a little bit of a break in from like the Sims 4 in general. I don't know, I just kind of like got a little burnt out and also a little bored of the game. And just felt like, taking a little break from just focusing on making content and just like playing the game and having fun with the game again, like on my own time. It kind of like made me re-inspired to start making videos again. And also I'm using a different editing software too, so I don't know, the way that I'm currently recording this voiceover is kind of weird because I had to edit this video on like the software, but the software doesn't come with like a voiceover feature, so I'm literally using the voice recording thing on my computer and having to like copy and paste that file into the software that I'm using. So I'm not really sure how this video is going to turn out. Hopefully it will turn out well enough. I'm really happy with this video and how it turned out. I'm happy with the build. It's really, like, again, I can't stress enough how fun it is to play with it, and I look forward to like making more fun builds for Granite Falls, because like I said, when I played with this lot in the campsite that I did, that's actually, I've already done a video on the campsite that I did, so if you haven't, maybe I'll make a playlist so that you can find it easier. But I just feel like it, like going to Granite Falls, it just makes it a lot funner now with this restaurant. And like, I don't know, it's just like something small, but it makes a huge difference when it comes to your Sims like having fun and having something to do while they're in Granite Falls. And I don't know, I'm thinking about doing something with the national park, because I really don't see the point in having a park lot when like the whole entire Granite Falls is just like, I don't know, I kind of like see it as like in my mind I see it as like a state park. So like I'm seeing like the whole environment where you like your Sims walk around and stuff. I kind of like see that as a park or a nature environment, and I personally don't see the need to have like a national park. I don't know, is there like a Bigfoot, or is that, am I thinking about The Sims 2? I'm not really for sure, but I personally don't think I need to have that national park, and I'm not really sure what I want to do with that. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down below in the comments as to what I should do with the national park. I'm thinking about maybe doing like almost like a summer camp type thing. I currently don't have the little campers kit in my game right now. But I have been thinking about like buying it just so I can do like a summer camp theme like with the national park. I don't know, I feel like that would be really fun, like with like just adding on gameplay and just having something to do with your Sims, because I don't know, like when you like, I think like most of the time when you just come to Granite Falls, all they can really do is maybe sit around the campfire, which is cool. But I don't know. I feel like the game just needs, well, not the game, but like, I don't know. Like I just need like, because like the way that the Sims 4 is basically just set, and I feel like the set has to be worthwhile and like full of fun stuff to do. And that was another thing that I tried not to do with this build as well, because sometimes I can go a little bit overboard, and I feel like with this lot it's more of my like more simple lots, I think, because I kind of like wanted to just make it a restaurant and that's it. And it also has a bar. um Usually when I do community lots, I typically do it like multifunctional type lots, but this is just like a restaurant, and I kind of like that simplistic like feel to it. And I don't know, I feel like it might be better. Like I have been considering lately like how other people's computers might run. I know because like I know there's like certain like requirements when it comes to how like for example like how EA makes their builds when they release a game pack. And I know like I don't follow those rules exactly, but I did like try to keep that in mind when I was working on this build. Also, more simpler builds, they don't take as long, because they aren't as complex. And I feel like doing this build was really refreshing because it was just so simple. And I don't know, I just love the vibe so much of this place. It's just so comforting. And I don't know, I just like more natural environments. Like I use a lot of wood, a lot of stone, and it's just like a really cozy feel to it. I don't know how else to describe it, but yeah, we're almost at the end of the speed build. And if you got to the end, I appreciate you so much. If you stick around to the very, very end, you will see some like footage of me like playing with this build and also some pictures. I know sometimes, like with the speed build, it's kind of hard to see some things. One thing I really do appreciate about this build is like the stonework that I did around the pond. That kind of like took me forever, and I did cut out a little bit of it because I was like, no one would want to watch me just put like rocks around the river. And also, like, I did a little bit of detailing like on the front side of the um like the front entrance part. I kind of like tried to make it look like a log cabin. Honestly, I probably could have did it like on all the corners like around the whole building, but I don't know, I just didn't have like the patience for it, and I was like the front is just good enough. But I really I don't think like the pictures do this build justice. I feel like there's more like details that you would see like if you actually like played with it in game. But yeah, let me know down below if you do choose to download it off the gallery and play with it. Let me know if you run into any issues or problems, and I'll try to like fix it and re-upload it to the gallery. Also, let me know how you choose to like play with it. Let me know if anything like interesting or funny happens while you're there. I know for me personally, I'll definitely bringing my Sims to Granite Falls a lot more. And I don't know, I've just been like thinking about it. Like I don't know if anyone else does this, but I get so attached to my Sims, especially when I like make cuz I'm the type of person that I always like, I don't know, I tend to get bored with my families, and I'm always making like a single sim and like just starting over again. But I can just like see like because of the Sims that I brought to Granite Falls, like my like I'm doing currently doing the family dynamics challenge like off camera, and I also do plan on doing it like another series on this channel with it too. But the family that I brought, whether or not a family yet, this just like a single sim and her fiance. And when they came here, I just can like see them coming back over and over again, like maybe like every other weekend, just to get away from. They currently live in, where is it? The world that came with like eco living. They live there, and I feel like just getting away and getting that fresh air. It's just some, I don't know. I just like that part of their story. Like that's just their thing of like getting out into the woods and kind of like they don't even like stay in the cabins. They stay in the campground because they just like being under the stars and just getting that fresh air. And I can just see them coming back and bringing their family, and they take pictures, and like every time they come, like they're something else is going on in their lives, and it's just like a little, like almost like a family tradition type thing of like coming to this restaurant, and like they have like their favorite thing when they come here, or they just like experience something different when they come here. And that's just something that I've never really experienced with the camping pack. Like I don't know, it's like something that is in my game but I typically ignore or don't notice or don't mess with a lot. And I know like that's a lot to say with this one little build, but I don't know. I just like I don't know. I'm just keep thinking about like the last time I played, and it was just like so much fun for them. And I hope you have fun too if you do choose to download this lot off the gallery. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this voiceover up. Stick around to the end so that you can see the pictures and the little bit of footage that I recorded with this lot. But yeah, if you stuck around to the very end, I appreciate you so much for watching. And I hope to see you in a future video because there will be more speed builds coming up. My intentions are to post speed builds every Sunday, and I would like to get at least one Let's Play uploaded a week, or maybe two. I don't know. It depends on like how things go with my work and just life in general. I'm really trying not to get bored or like kind of like burn myself out of The Sims because it's a game that I really do enjoy. And sometimes when I, overwork myself, I kind of like get sick of the game a little bit, and I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to really enjoy what it is that I'm doing. I'm trying to have fun with this process and just making videos in general. And I'm just trying not to get like too much in my head about it and just like enjoy the process. So yeah, I'm hoping that you're enjoying these videos as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.